Hey, I'm CARBO Brotherhood. Really excited to introduce the Savage Axis Trigger Spring Kit for your Savage Axis bolt action rifle. Great rifle for under 400 bucks. You can't beat the value, but we can improve the performance a little bit. The trigger pull is a little bit lacking. It's about 5.5, 6 pounds from the factory. We're gonna go ahead and measure that here in a second, but this simple 10-minute installation is gonna give you a 2-pound trigger pull reduction for your Savage Axis bolt action rifle. Really affordable. You spent under 400 for the firearm. Why spend 100, 200 for the trigger? You can do this 10 minutes or less, get 2-pound reduction, getting you in that sweet spot. So it's a custom designed trigger return spring for your Savage Axis, and then also a carbon steel over travel screw to reduce the over travel and greater improve the overall function of the firearm. So it's going to be a nice, light, crisp, smooth trigger pull with the new and improved Savage Axis Trigger Spring Kit. Let's go ahead and put this baby in. Parts and tools needed for this build: Savage Axis Trigger Spring Kit by CARBO, 1/8 inch Allen key, 5/32 inch Allen key, flathead screwdriver, blue Loctite, and as always guys, make sure you're wearing eye pro. Before we go any further, let's check our rifles together, make sure they're clear. Go ahead and remove the magazine, check the chamber, check the bolt face, check the magazine well. This firearm's clear. Now let's go ahead and take a couple factory trigger pull readings and see what we're starting with. 5 pounds, 13.5 ounces. Let's take one more to confirm. 6 pounds, 1.0 ounces. So about a 5.5, 6 pound trigger pull is what we're starting with. All right, we start the installation by removing the stock. So go ahead and take your 5/32 Allen key and start on these 2 stock assembly screws. We'll start with the one in the rear first. Just get it loose. Yep, crack the forward one. Take that out. All right, go ahead and pull the receiver and barrel out of the stock. Set that stock aside and you take your screws out. You'll see the long screw goes in the rear and the short screw is up front. So up front, in the rear, you'll see too that your trigger guard may pop out. Simple, it just pops right back in like that. So we'll set that aside for now and we're gonna focus on the trigger. Okay, next step, we want to remove the trigger, so we want to attack this hinge pin here. We're going to go ahead and flip it over so we can access the E-clip. Now with these E-clips, it helps if you just push that hinge pin. See that? I just pushed the hinge pin through. Now we got a little bit of space in between the E-clip, and I can take the flathead screwdriver and just easily pry that E-clip right off. Otherwise, these little E-clips, it's almost their job to fight you on the disassembly. But it's good. They're nice and secure and they stay on there. So got the E-clip off, so now we're gonna go ahead and unlock the bolt, release a little bit of the tension on this hinge pin here, make it easy to push out. So you just push it right out. Keep your other hand on the trigger, keep everything from flying everywhere. Got the hinge pin out. Now we're gonna remove the trigger. And you can see how that all goes together there. Quickly, you'll notice this yellow wax here will be on both of these holes. It's not on this one because we've already scraped it off, but you can go ahead and scrape it off, and it's as easy as unscrewing the factory trigger return spring. And let's go ahead and do a quick side-by-side comparison to the CARBO trigger return spring. All right, now we're going to go ahead and remove our Savage Axis trigger spring kit and put them side by side to see how they compare. Dramatically reduced the gauge wire on this trigger spring kit compared to the factory trigger return spring. So you can see here is the CARBO trigger return spring here, and then this is the over travel screw here. So it's a nice combination. You're going to get a reduced trigger pull and you're going to eliminate some over travel, which is a win-win. So let's do a quick side-by-side comparison. Look at that. Major difference. It's going to be amazing. 2-pound reduction easily. So just a quick little compression test too. You can see how much easier it is to compress the CARBO spring on the right, and you get just kind of a little compression. I'm keeping equal pressure on both springs, and this is kind of the difference here. Now we're going to go ahead and insert our over travel screw. Take your blue Loctite, put a little bit on the threads. Just want to keep it from backing off on us while it's in operation. Just prevent any movement. Go ahead and insert the over travel screw. We're going to make the maximum adjustment. This screw, we went ahead and picked a screw that would be ideal for a maximum over travel adjustment. It won't go flush here. There will be that tiny little bit of gap, but it's not completely necessary to cinch it all the way down. We've got a little blue Loctite on there. Just snug it up with your 1/8 inch Allen key and we're good to go. This is the maximum amount of over travel adjustment we're going to get and still maintain the proper functionality of the firearm. Now we're going to go ahead and reinstall the trigger. Just be advised that this pin right here will try to work itself loose on you, so when you're manipulating this bolt, just keep an eye on it. It may help put your thumb on it, keep it in place. Otherwise, the assembly will come unattached. It's not a big deal, just something to be aware of. So we're going to go ahead and unlock the bolt to release some of the tension, push the safety forward. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our trigger with the over travel screw installed, take our trigger return spring, the CARBO trigger return spring. Look at that springiness. Go ahead and insert that spring into that little cavity there, and then go ahead and line up the holes. Now we're going to go ahead and take the pin, the trigger hinge pin, we're going to drop it straight in. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and lock the bolt. Provides a nice little rest and allows you to put that E-clip on very easily. It doesn't put any unneeded stress on anything. Take your flathead screwdriver, press that E-clip right on. Okay? Good to go. Now we're going to go ahead and drop the receiver back into the stock. Take your long screw, put that in the rear. Take your short screw, put that in the front. Take your 5/32 Allen key, just get them started, and then snug them up. Okay, once they're good and snug, we're ready to do a function check. All right, now that we get the Savage Axis back together, go ahead and do a quick function check. Place the weapon on safe, pull the trigger, nothing, good. Pull the trigger, oh man, that feels good. All right, let's see what we get for a trigger pull reduction. 3 pounds, 9.5 ounces. That is awesome. Let's take one more to confirm. All right, let's do one more to confirm. 3 pounds, 8.9 ounces. There you go, guys. 2 pound reduction on your trigger pull on your Savage Axis. Really happy about this kit. Thank you, CARBO Brotherhood, for your input as always. And really interested in getting your feedback on this. Let me know what you guys get for a trigger pull reduction. Thank you, and as always, happy shooting.